Alright guys, so welcome to the vlog. I'm cooking supper right now. I've got green beans here on the stove and we've got us some lovely leftover deer meat. Comment down below this emoji if y'all eat deer meat and if it is probably the best meat that you've ever had, honestly. But we are here at the end of the 2023 WPRA season. It actually ended September 30th. I'm just now having time to record this, and I figured while we are coming up into NFR, and by the time that this comes live, we are in the middle of NFR. I figured that I'd go ahead and answer some of y'all's burning questions about WPRA, what it was like for pro rodeo, and what would I have done differently. Everything. So I hope that you guys enjoy this vlog.
Jelaine Hughes, Hineston, Louisiana.
So one of the questions are, what are the ins and outs of pro rodeo? We do not have enough time to go over that. But if you are really looking into getting serious about doing pro rodeo, the best resources that you can find are the WPRA rule book. They usually come out with one every single year. It's got all the ins and outs. It breaks down everything for barrel racing and breakaway roping. So if you're very serious about going to learn all the ins and outs, I suggest that you go read that. You can read that and you're still not gonna know it. So also, with that, you want to try to find you a mentor or a buddy that may be somewhere in your area. Thankfully, I had Ashley Rogers, shout out to her, that she's down in a meet, that I was able to message her with any questions that I had. She was super helpful. She still is super helpful. And she had actually qualified to the Southeastern Circuit Finals in Florida. So all claps around to her. But she's been doing this for a little bit now. I was able to ask her some questions. She helped me with just about everything that I asked her. So that would be like one of my very top tips, would try to find somebody that's already doing it. That way that you can go ahead and kind of learn along, and that'll kind of help you with going and traveling up and down the rodeo road. Kind of piggybacking off of that question, we're going to jump straight into how do you get your rodeo permit? You simply just buy it. For the permit, it's $325. Pro rodeo permit, you basically, you'll go onto the WPRA website, you'll click on, I believe it's applications tab, and it has all the little different applications that you can fill out. You have your junior WPRA, regular WPRA, there's some other stuff, and then you have your breakaway stuff. So you'll go ahead and fill out those. I don't know what the fees are for everybody else for like your junior WPRA or your breakaway. I have not looked at those. But I know that if you are going into barrel racing, you are over 18, to do barrel racing, it is $325. That is the permit up front. So, along with that, you have between October 1st, well actually I think you can start printing it off. I know checking the website, it was like available mid-September. So, if you have any kind of rodeos in the beginning of October, like October 1st through October 5th, like the weekend that falls there, you're gonna wanna hurry up and get that application filled out and send it in. I usually send it in with a check because there are no extra fees. So that's my little tidbit right there. But you do a credit card, there's gonna be a convenience fee. With your permit, you have to send in a birth certificate clarifying that you are over 18 and that you are able to compete in the WPRA. If you turn 18 after January 1st of that season, you will probably have to pay the late fee. I don't know if that factors in or not, but you do have to wait until you're 18 till you can compete. you have between about September 20th. That's giving it a little bit of grace there. Sometimes it's come out like on the 17th, a couple days before the 20th. But for sure, probably about September 20th till December 31st to get your application in. After you get it in, like if you get it in January 1st and later, there is a fine. So you want to make sure that you're going to get your application in to get your permit in the first 3 months of competition right there. My next question that I had kind of dealing with the permit was, is it only good for a year? It is not. The tricky thing about getting your permit is like you're able to pay $325 up front, able to go rodeo right then and there. The thing is, any money won goes to your permit. You are not in these standings. You are barrel racing on a permit until you win $1,000. You cannot pay somebody $1,000 to get a card. Permit and card is totally different. Permit, you're able to still go to rodeos except for the rodeos that say only cards. So, and you'll have to go through and like look at the different rodeos. Some of them will say all cards and permits, cards only, all cards, circuit permits only. Circuit permits is like if you're in that circuit, only that kind of circuit permit can run. So, for instance, if you go to like a Texas rodeo, I don't know if there's any like this, but this is just an example. If you go to a Texas rodeo and it says all cards, circuit permit only, I can't run because I'm Southeastern Circuit here in Louisiana. So if you are in the state of Texas and you are running under the Texas Circuit, you can run. If you are somewhere else, you cannot. So I hope that kind of clarifies some things. Whenever you fill your permit and win $1,000, that can be at WPRA co-approved barrel races and at pro rodeos. So you have to win $1,000 there and that'll fill your permit. Then you have two options. You can either buy a second permit to finish out your year, depending on like when it falls. Like say you fill your permit in July. You're gonna probably want to go ahead and buy a second permit from July to the end of September, because whenever you're done with your permit, you get your card. So that's the second option. You buy a card, you are starting your rookie year. Your rookie year basically finishes out that season. So say you go ahead and get your permit, you hit 2 rodeos or barrel race and a rodeo in October, you fill the $1,000. It would probably not affect anything if you go ahead and get your rookie card then. So with the rookie card, after you fill your permit, you buy your, then you go on and get your card. That's your rookie season. After that, you're done. So kind of to break it up there for y'all, you get 1 year of your rookie year, whether it's in the same year that you fill out your permit or if you wait until the following season to go ahead and then buy your rookie card. I hope that's not too confusing, guys. But so you can have your permit for until you fill it with $1,000 of winnings. Me, unfortunately, I do not have any winnings on my permit. We went to a couple of rodeos. Foxy landed about in the middle of all of them, except for Lake Charles one. She got a no time because she overturned her first barrel. So that knocked us completely out. We did not get a placing there. Also, if you win money at a WPRA co-approved race, let's say in the 3D, it doesn't count. The money that is won in the co-approved barrel races has to be in the 1D. So that there's kind of a little bit there. You have to be at the top until you can apply it to your permit. Foxy has not had any money won towards her permit yet. We are hitting up some WPRA co-approved barrel races, and we do have a show coming up, which by the time that y'all see this, we will have already ran. But whenever you win the $1,000, fill your permit. If you buy your card, if let's say you had 800 and something odd dollars and you win 400, you win $400 at a rodeo. You fill your permit right then and there. You decide to buy your card. 200 or 100 and whatever is applied to the permit, and if I'm understanding this correctly, the remainder amount goes straight onto your pro card. So that is if you decide to go ahead and do it that way. You can buy the second permit. You can only do that once. So like I was saying, if you decide like you're gonna go and you end up filling your permit in all the way up until July, you knock it out of the park, get you some money, you only have about 2 months left. Are you gonna go ahead and buy your card? No, you're gonna let your rookie year go to waste, basically. So you have the option to buy a second permit. You buy that second permit. That is the only time that you can do it. It carries out the rest of the season. And then in October, whenever you go to renew your membership, you'll start out with a card, to my understanding. Okay, so I had somebody ask me, where did you spend the most money? I had put out a poll if y'all wanted a budget breakdown, or if y'all just wanted the most expensive thing. Lucky for y'all, I tracked it because I was very much curious about this too. From what it looks like here, probably the most expensive thing was between entry fees and I'm sure there needs to be gas on here. Hang on. I do have gas, guys. I know that I wrote it down. I didn't know if I typed it up. Okay, so like I said, your membership for your permit, $325. So that was just my membership. Next thing was my vet bills. And when I say vet bills, I don't mean, Foxy's not getting injections. We're not doing that right now. Just for her Coggins and her shots. And we went ahead and did health papers. If you travel out of your state, you have to have health papers. Just gonna let you know that now. I didn't know that. I thought I needed them for every rodeo. I went ahead and did them for Lafayette. Then I come to find out I didn't need to do it. But Coggins and shots with the health papers, $190. So I'm not calculating that in my mind. But we're over 500 at this point. That's before the season has even started. We have not even ran yet. So we have co-approved barrel race, Lafayette Rodeo, Lake Charles Rodeo, co-approved barrel race. I did not put down Winsboro. So I'm looking here at a lot of your rodeos. If it's under 3,000, something like that, it's like $86 for your entry fee. If it's 1,000 and under, I believe it's 76. I believe so. Then you start going up to your more added money. You can get up to over $100 and close to $200 for an entry fee. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. But with the entry fees, I probably spent close to $300, roughly. $325 for membership, almost $200 for a vet, almost $300 or about $300 for entry fees. Over $200 for gas. So, and that's only because there's not a whole lot of rodeos in Louisiana that is near me. I had to go a minimum of 2 hours away to go to these rodeos. So it is always good to kind of factor in that kind of stuff. So if you add that all together, we're looking at roughly about $800, $700 between $700, $800. So I spent about $700, $800 to try to win $1,000 to fill my permit. And I won $0. So we are negative $700, $800. And the funny thing, the reason why I'm laughing is that that's just the pro rodeo stuff. Like, that's just stuff that counts towards pro rodeos. That does not mean all the barrel races that I took Foxy to work on getting her seasoned. So she's still in the seasoning stage. So she's not fully patterned or anything. She's not finished. She's not none of this. So we're still seasoning Foxy. We have Ceze coming up. Ceze is going to be hauling with us. So I'm expecting my entry fees to be double next year. Double. And this is not going to be good. But that kind of leads me on to the next question that was asked was it worth it? Was it? You tell me. All I have to say is my mindset going into this, I knew that Foxy was not a 1D horse. But here's the thing, I knew that. I wanted to do this for the first season for her as an experience. It was an experience. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it for the experience to help me grow as a rider, to help Foxy grow as a very competitive horse. She very much is. And when I say that, Lafayette, I knew that this was going to be all mind-blowing to her. It was going to be mind-blowing to me. Lafayette, we went to slack. I was like, we are not even going to touch a performance. No, not going to happen. Not now. We're not doing it. So we went to slack. It was pretty good. The ground was watered very much. So it was a little bit different for her. I don't think that she really struggled. I think she was still trying to be kind of getting in the mindset of okay, we're just here at another barrel race kind of deal. So that was just a learning experience. It was definitely a learning experience. Let me go ahead and walk y'all through it. All right, so with Lafayette, we're gonna go ahead and go over what are some things that you would have done differently. Here's what we're gonna talk about. Lafayette was the first pro rodeo that Foxy has ever been to. Lafayette was the first one that I've ever been to in the WPRA, running as a WPRA member. It's about 2 hours from my house. The drive there was fine until we were 5-10 minutes away. And when I say that, Lafayette is super busy, and Lafayette has a 3-way roadway. And what I mean that, it's got 3 lanes, and I was still okay, I'm gonna go down here. I got all the way over in the right lane, and the roadway is it needs to be updated, to be honest. And so whenever I was going in my truck and trailer down this very busy roadway, trying to get there for 9 a.m. slack. So I'm going through traffic at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning slack, 9 a.m. I'm going through 8 a.m. traffic in Lafayette. So I'm driving, and my mother is kind of a little bit worried about the story because she's like, did you tell me about this? I was like, I'm pretty sure I did. But, so we're going down this roadway. Mind you, this comes into play later. My brother and my dad are going out of state to go on a hunting trip. So I'm going down this roadway by myself, going to Lafayette Slack. I hit a piece of asphalt just the right way. The front end of my truck is bucking, kind of it just won't stop. I'm driving, I get down to probably 10 miles an hour thinking I just broke the axle on my truck at the very first pro rodeo that we're gonna go to. So, and then I look down, my little light box is off for I assumed it was for my brakes and everything. It still does work for the brakes. But I was like, all my brakes are gone. This is great. I have no lights. I have no brakes. My axle's broke. Like, this was all running through my mind at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going 10 miles down, like 10 miles an hour down the road, trying to find my turn. Then I turn, finally get the truck to stop, the front end to stop doing that. Turn, and then just maul it to the Coliseum. So, yes, we get there, we unload. I was like, I'm in a little 2-horse bumper pull. I'm just gonna squeeze right in here in front of like this big rig. Turns out it was Jackie Ganner and her mom. I was like, okay, we're here to play with the big dogs. But get there, was able to get Foxy in the arena. Whenever you go to a slack, they will kind of, I don't know if all of them do, but some of them will offer you time in the arena. You cannot circle the stakes. You can basically just like lope your horse around. Like if you want to stay to the outside or lope big circles or whatever, they'll allow you to do that. But do not go around the stakes. I cannot stress that enough. If you are caught going around the stakes or attempting to practice around the stakes within, I think, 15 feet, 10 or 15 feet, you will be fined. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You will be fined if you are caught. Said, and I say that because I seen pictures over the summer. Somebody did practice around the stakes, messed up the ground. I don't think anybody figured out who it was, but everybody was mad. But yeah, so if you want to try to go there for like slack and you want to try to get into the pen, some of them will allow you if you are there early enough to go in there and exercise. That was kind of what I wanted to do in general. That's why I showed up so early. Like I said, I tried to get there at 8. I think they closed the arena at 8:30. So I had about a good 15, 20 minutes by the time that I got there to actually get Foxy in the arena and let her look around at everything. And yeah, so went there, tied Foxy up, kind of like went to go check out some things, got settled, got my outfit on, got Foxy's stuff on. Then we hurried up and went over there, made our run. And another thing, like whenever you go to make your run, they want you in and out as fast as you can. So there is no alley issues. There are no waiting around 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes for you to get into the alleyway, into the arena. If you're not in there, I think it's 90 seconds. It may be more. I don't know. But I think it's like a good rule of thumb. If you're not in the arena in 90 seconds after they call you, you're disqualified. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Nothing. So, and that goes for the pro rodeos too. And so I think with that, they're trying to get you in and out. Like as soon as the one girl comes out, whenever they're coming home from the third barrel, they're looking at you like, get in here right now. You're ready to go. So kind of, it's a little bit intimidating whenever you first go. I just want y'all to be prepared for anything like that. The PRCA judges are not wasting time at all. They see the one girl coming out, they're looking at you like, you need to get in here right now. We got to have this whole production going. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Just because it's slack, it does not mean that you get a little bit of leeway. So they want you to be in and out as fast as you can. With me, I was already waiting to go. Turned out, I think it was like I don't know if it was 2 in front of me or just 1. I know 1 for sure because I was supposed to run behind Margot Crowther. That was intimidating for me to go down there and thinking about that. She did not show up. I think that was a non-notified turnout. So with that, you get fined. If you do a non-notified turnout, At a slack, it is cheaper to do it at that than at a pro rodeo. If you do it at a pro rodeo, I think it's like double. The fines are crazy. I will tell you that. Thankfully, I did not get fined this year. But I was sitting there waiting, and I think both of the girls that were like right in front of me didn't show up. So I was sitting there waiting. The guys were sitting there trying to call them, and they looked at me. They're like, "Okay, well, you're already here, so that's good." I was like, "Okay, that's what I wanted to do." So we made our run. I think we were the slowest, but I will take it. We did not knock any barrels. We did not do anything. Like, she didn't do anything funny. She just went in there and made her run. It was a little bit different for her, and I think she kind of felt like my anxiety and everything too. So that's kind of what ruled into that. With Lake Charles, that was another 2 hours away. And my brother and his now wife had went to go watch me at that, which was really exciting. I was able to get all dolled up and everything. I showed up a little bit before rodeo time had started. And whenever I had entered for Lake Charles, I wanted to get the 2 o'clock on Saturday because I wanted to be able to go on a weekend, take Foxy to a big performance kind of show. We ended up drawing up slack, but I was able to do like a little text around chain to all the girls that were running on Saturday to see if I could get in the performance. So thankfully, I had gotten in contact with Erin Wetzel. She is super, super nice. She's a Florida cowgirl, and she was able to trade with me, so I was able to run on Saturday, and I am so, so thankful for that, because getting into that kind of environment with Foxy was just, it was a lot. And so I'm glad that Foxy was able to experience that. Foxy was able to experience everything. They had us stacked in the alley. The stands were crazy. Like, it wasn't a sold out show or anything, but there was a lot of people there, and she was definitely looking. So I'm glad that she was able to see all of that up front. Foxy's one of those kind of horses that she likes to look at everything and soak it up. And what I mean by that, like, it may be chaos the first time that she does something, but after she does something, it's like, okay, we've done this before. I've got this kind of situation. Like, you show her once, she soaks it up like a sponge. She's ready to go the next time. Nothing phases her after that. So I feel like that run was super, super beneficial for her to be able to run in that kind of environment with all the people around, all the little kids around. And we did not handle the ground that great. Like I did say earlier, we did overturn the first barrel, but her second barrel and everything else went flawless. And if you have been watching us since last year, like 2022 last year, you know that her second barrel was not that great at all. And I was a little bit worried about that. We step into the pro rodeo scene, and she's like turning second barrels like she's been doing this for years. Like she's a 10-year-old or whatever. No. I just wanted to kind of show y'all like the whole everything that we work for here. And that's kind of why I started doing this, is because you don't have to have a already made horse. You don't have to be running in the 1D to run at a pro rodeo. It helps, but like I said, for this 2023 season, I was going just for the experience. If you're going just for the experience, money is not an issue for you. You're able to make what you can. It really helps a lot, especially with like hauling jitters. It helps with running your horse around barrels. Like, if you have anxiety before your runs, this definitely helps whenever you're actually like running with a whole bunch of girls and running with a huge crowd and all this other stuff. And I highly would recommend, if you are really on the fence about doing, like, if you're wanting to do pro rodeo, if you're thinking about pursuing it, but you don't have that great of a horse, maybe do amateur rodeo. But if you can, definitely do a rodeo kind of scene, the atmosphere is phenomenal. Like, I cannot explain how much like the atmosphere changed for me from a regular barrel race to a pro rodeo. It's just a totally different feel. Also, for a side note, for performances, like I said, if you're a competitor, you have a companion pass for one person to get in free. For slack, it's completely free admission. So for your performances, if you have people traveling with you, they will have to buy a ticket unless somebody is using your companion pass. I had planned to go to more rodeos this past year. And what I mean by that, like, I had planned to go to at least 2 Texas rodeos. It did not happen because Nacogdoches, Texas Pro Rodeo was in March. I had lost my job at the end of February. So that is why you probably did not see me barrel race a whole lot up in the beginning of the year. Like, I was able to go ahead and do Lafayette, did Lake Charles, and Lake Charles was the second weekend, I believe it fell on, of February. 2 weeks later, I lost my job. So yeah, I had a whole thing planned. Like, I was like, okay, we're gonna go to Nacogdoches, Texas. There's another place, I can't think, I want to say Longview, but I don't think it was Longview. I can't remember. But I had planned to go to so many more rodeos this year and just didn't. Also, I had Ashley ask me if I wanted to get on her trailer. We go to Florida for some Florida rodeos at the beginning of the year. I told her that I was going to go ahead and postpone on those. Those were actually in March, I believe, March, April-ish. So that was also like another thing. Like, I was kind of thinking about it, but everything had happened and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I went ahead and paid off my truck to get that bill out of the way and take care of my other bills around the house. And yeah. So, but I had told her that I was planning on going on a summer run with her and then come around to summer, and I didn't go. So, but we did end up going to Winsboro Pro Rodeo in May. I had went to the Friday night performance. They had Thursday. I don't think that they had a Wednesday one. I know they had Thursday, they had Friday, and they had Saturday night performances. Their slack was actually after the Friday night perf. So the crazy thing about like all these rodeos that I went to, there was always somebody there that has gone to the NFR, which is kind of insane to me. For Lake Charles, I had pulled up next to a truck. I think you can see it in the video, in one of like my old little videos. I think I pretty much use this for like the outfit of it. In one of the videos, you can see the truck that's right parked next to me, and that was actually Kelly and Kenna Kaminsky. Now, if the name sounds familiar, Miss Kelly had ran in the NFR, I think for 2 or 3 years. I am sorry if I messed that up, but I haven't like really done like my full-on research. I know she was in 2004. But basically I was running with her daughter Kenna, and Kenna is super sweet, guys. Like, I had asked like for if she knew where to get water on the premises was. That's another thing, that if you're gonna do pro rodeo, bring your own water for your horse. So, because I had asked her if they knew of any water that was around the Coliseum at Lake Charles. She said that she wasn't quite sure, but that's why they always bring water for their horses. Like, they load up the water tank in the horse trailer. And she was kind enough to go ahead and give me some water for Foxy. So I was really, really excited about that whenever I realized like who was parked next to me. And then I had seen them later on, I think it was at the end of March, that they had came over here for another barrel race because they had the KK qualifier run for like, I think it's for youth riders. And so I was able to see them there too. But on to Winsboro, got there. I'm so glad that Cody had came with me for that one. So, because he had it mapped in his stuff, I had it mapped in my stuff. whenever my maps came up for the address, it sent me like 20 minutes away. And I was gonna go 20 minutes away from the arena. So we came up, what caught it was, is we came up to a stoplight. Cody's following behind me. I turned my blinker on to go left, and he called me. He's like, why are you going left? I said, because it's telling me to go left. It's about 20 minutes away. He goes, it's 5 minutes away and you're supposed to turn right. I'm like, oh. So I hurry up and flip my blinker and turn right at the stoplight. And so I'm sitting there on the phone and he's giving me directions. He's like, okay, turn left now. And so I'm like sitting there like in the truck like, oh, this is stressful. Come to find out, and I made me a note for future reference for Winsboro's address, is to change it. I think it's like 2110 or something like that, but to change it to like 2112, and it takes you straight to the arena. So for some odd reason, whenever you do the address, it takes you like 20 minutes away from the arena, and it's a school, basically. Like, it is literally right beside and behind the football field at the school. So, Winsboro, we pull up. Somebody, like, you go through and, like, there was, like, a circle that you can make a turnaround. So, I go to make a turnaround in the circle. Somebody had parked and cut off the circle. So, I'm stranded, like, in the middle of all these horse trailers, in the middle of this loop. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. So I look, and there's like a little bit of a gap. And so thankfully the people that had that horse trailer right there, they're like, do you need me to move up? I was like, if you could move up like 2 feet, I think I can make it. Because like I said, I have a little 2-horse bumper pull. So it's like I can maneuver in little tight spaces. So she moves up. I go ahead and pull up. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to pull up right here next to the warm-up area. We're going to park right here. They're gonna have plenty of room. It's not that big of a deal. So I didn't make the warm-up area smaller. Like, everybody was basically just sloping the same circle, and I was not cutting it off at all. So I just like shimmied on up in there, parked right next to like a big long gooseneck trailer. And so I was like, we're just gonna call it good right there. I went and got Foxy some water. I went to go look at the event schedule. Came back, Fallon Taylor is parked right next to my truck. So I fangirled really bad. I was nervous. Everybody's all telling her hi. I'm over there sitting at my trailer just looking like, I want to go say hi, but I don't want to be like in her way. So yeah, I kept on watching. I got to see Fallon, I got to see Alex, I got to see Brand was there, Poppy showed up, Cody was there. I got to see basically the whole gang, and I didn't go say hi to anybody. So that is my, like, yeah. But I had went in, that was the night that I had worn a ranch dress and shirt, went in. I had warmed up Foxy, tied her back up to the horse trailer. I was like, I'm not going to worry about putting on her boots until last minute. Went to go sit in the stands. Got to watch the little trick rider act. It was a girl that she did Roman riding and stuff. So then I started to get nervous about my run. And I like told Cody I was going to go ahead and go get Foxy, like go get her saddled up, go get me ready. Cause I didn't have my shirt on or anything. He was like, okay. So I was like really antsy about like the whole ordeal. And so I'm sitting there talking to another girl that she lives probably about 30 minutes away from me, that this was like both of our permit years. Me and her were sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden we hear the cannon go off. And we're like, that's the clown act. We're right behind the clown act. So we're like both scrambling, trying to hurry up and get the horses done. I grabbed Fox, like I'm sitting there like trying to put on a shirt, grab Foxy, I run on foot across the gravel because I didn't want to like jump on her and hurry up and do all that where it would like freak her out. But like I grabbed her, me and her went running over to where the warm-up area was. I'm sitting there trying to get her boots on. I had a girl circling me. So she was like, Foxy was like turning, looking at her, like freaking out. Why is somebody like circling me? And then I'm sitting there trying to get the boots on. I wish I would have looked at the boots before I had put them on the stirrups, because I put them on backwards. So I put the left on the right and the right on the left. Yes, I do not, apparently I do not do well in these kind of situations. So, yeah. But we went in, we had a really good run. I almost broke my thumb on my camera during my run. I don't know if you can see it very well, but like on the way home from the third barrel, I decided to go ahead and grab like my over and under. And so I go and I whip, and then I like could not decide if I wanted to go here or over here. So I did this and hit right on my GoPro and came out, and like all this was swollen right here on my hand. So it was, yeah. Said, I don't know how embarrassing like some of this stuff kind of sounds. To me, I'm just like, if only I could have done something different. But some of y'all are probably just like, I would do the same thing. I definitely would. But I got done with my run, walked Foxy back, like I got off of her, loosened up the saddle, walked her back over to where the horse trailer was, got all of her tack undone and everything. Cody had came over to the horse trailer. Me and him were sitting there talking. And then all of a sudden, Fallon and all of her group comes over, starts walking by the horse trailer, and she sees me and she tells me good run. And I was like, okay. Fallon Taylor told me good run. After I just like almost broke my thumb and everything. Did not really have that great of a run. I think for the scenario of the run, the pin was itty bitty. Like Foxy maybe got 2 strides in. And if she was running, she probably only would have got 2 strides in. But I think from me being like worried about it and her feeling that, I think she also worried about it. So she like chopped her strides a lot. And I'm pretty sure like you can see it in like the videos if you go back and look. Like I'm always posting them because it was a televised event on the Cowboy Channel. That was like the first one that I've ever been to that it was like televised on the Cowboy Channel. So I was like really like fascinated by that. I'm like, I'm on TV kind of situation. But yeah, and so started going home after that. Nothing crazy happened or anything. Like started going home, and I decided to go ahead and stop at one of the gas stations not far from the house to go ahead and fuel up. It was, by the time that I got there, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was tired. Foxy was ready to get home. She's just like, why are you bringing me out like this? Kind of like situation. Like she just like, I could tell like she was getting like, not irritated, but it was more of like, I could kind of tell it was a little bit of an inconvenience for her. Because like it was definitely past her bedtime. Past my bedtime. I say it's like an inconvenience for her. Like what people don't quite understand is like we're hauling these horses. Like I said, all of the pro rodeos that I went to for 2023, a minimum of 2 hours away. So that's 2 hours there and 2 hours back. You're going through all kinds of traffic. You're going to some major cities. Like Lake Charles is a major city. Going through Lake Charles traffic. Thank God I didn't have to go over the bridge. But whenever you live, like, say you live in a place like I do, and when I say that, like, out in the country, like, I'm sure a lot of the barrel racers live out in the country where they're, like, maybe 20 minutes minimum from town of any sorts. They're probably tucked in the back, not very much traffic or anything. My horses aren't used to that kind of stuff. So, and I learned that Foxy definitely does not like overpasses. And when I say that, it's because when we were coming through to go to Lake Charles, we had gotten stopped at a red light, and I was stuck under an underpass with her in the trailer. I was nervous because the whole trailer just shook. She would not stop. Like, she heard the cars going over her head. heard the noise of the overpass and everything, she freaked out in the horse trailer a little bit, I think. Just based off of how much it was moving, like, yeah. So Foxy is not a fan of overpasses. I don't know if she's gonna like overpasses later on. We have not been under one since, like gotten stuck under one since. So I don't know how that's gonna go. But I feel like this is gonna be super long and everything already. But yeah. If you are thinking about doing it, just mainly for the experience and the fun, I highly recommend that you do. If you're doing it for the money, I highly recommend that you have a fast horse ready to go. Because I'm training my own. I don't really have the funds to keep doing this all the time. So this is basically an experience that I wanted to have with Foxy, to be able to do this. See if she has the mindset to be able to handle all this and to consider what I need to do going forward, bringing Seze into this. So I have bought my permit once again for the 2024 season. I have ran at one co-approved race. Yeah, one co-approved race. Foxy had placed in the 2D. Like, I think it was 17th in the 2D. If you have not seen that vlog, I will link it down below. But that was incredible that Foxy was able to run in a big show like that and ended up in the 2D. Like, and really, whenever we had left that Friday night, she was at the very, very bottom of the 1D. She's getting faster. I'm excited about that. The Saturday times got faster. She was a little bit slower. She ended up in the 3D. But the fact that she's ending up in the 2D and 3D at big shows shows a lot of promise coming into this next season in Pro Rodeo. With that, I've got one Pro Rodeo for sure planned in January, and it's not Lafayette. It's not Lafayette. And I was really debating about, do I go to Lafayette or not? But with stuff going on with my current job, I may actually be working like a lot of overtime. So, and because there's a project that's supposed to start about the time of Lafayette. So we're probably not doing that. I've already kind of set it in my mind, like, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to do it. But we are going to the LA NFR because they moved it to Coshada Casino. And I'm like, I've been wanting to go for like the past, I think they've had it for 5 years now. I've been wanting to go so bad. It's been in Gonzales, like 3-4 hours away. And I've never really had the truck and trailer to go that far. So now they've moved it closer. Me and Foxy are definitely going to that. I don't know if Seze is going to be on the trailer for that or not. I feel like Seze is going to be hitting up like the smaller little barrel races around the house, just so that we can start on her getting patterned and seasoned and all the fun stuff and things. So, but I hope that this answered a lot of the questions that you may have. I'll probably go ahead and link the WPRA rulebook down below as well, so that can kind of give you a kind of straight shot over there. I hope that y'all enjoyed this vlog. I hope that this answered any kind of questions that you had. If you have any other questions, go ahead and comment them down below, because I feel like I'm gonna do another Q&A like how I did kind of at the beginning of the season, probably in March. So it'll kind of be like a little touch base of Pro Rodeo Q&A kind of deal. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.